Well, it's the summer of 1737, and we've got one or two dilemmas facing us. I'll go into those. Okay, that's a VOC recruited. Tech theft has failed. So we're going to go back in there and get those. I don't know if you noticed, but war had been declared between Spain and Austria there. So, good thing that I keep refusing to become Austria's ally. I did worry actually when Savoy attacked me that it's because of that, because Savoy and Austria are allies. Anyway, so we're going back in there to get the tech that we want for the land. We've got the mines constructed now. There's a new port in New Spain. We've gained a trait. Missionary dies of natural causes, and Wesley is the historical note. Need to be aware about Wesley. Now I have to check what damage all this has been doing to my economy, all this bankruptcy. It's not going to be good. If you look there, can you see those bankruptcy markers? See how low we are? 0.1. And that's going to drop. It's going to get even worse. So next turn in Amsterdam, we're going to find that we either need armies in there, like dragoons, which are not going to be much use to me in an attack, or I'm going to be reducing my overall income. My overall income isn't good. What's that? 6,040. I'm not saying it's particularly bad, but it's not brilliantly good. So I'm going to need to take some drastic action here. The government's very unpopular, 44%. So, bearing in mind this is the government that led us to bankruptcy. I know it was me, but hey, that's how democracy works. So we're going to kick them out. There we go. Let's see what that does to our overall situation. Yep, we're up to 71%. Okay, that's 71% popularity. Now I should get rid of the bankruptcy. We'll go and take a look. We've lost a little bit of income, but very little. 602.8 I make that. So what have I lost? 12 per turn in income. And it's definitely worth doing that, in order to stabilise Amsterdam again. Need to have a look at Amsterdam and see what it's like. That's just telling me I've got a new national leader, because I booted out the old one. There you go. Wow, look at the difference. There you go. I mean, we can sustain problems in the future now with that one. Okay. If you look, those bankruptcy markers, they will go down anyway, but they're nothing compared to what they were. I can't really alter the taxation. I would have liked to have brought down the one for the nobility, but I do lose quite a lot of income when I do that, so I'm not going to be doing it. Okay, well I hope that's given you some idea also of when it's a good idea just to kick everybody, because it was an unpopular government and that tends to cause problems throughout. You can do your regions check as well and see what difference it makes to all of your regions, but believe you me, if you've got an unpopular government it does affect everybody, so it will make a difference. Gibraltar, that should be improved a little bit now, so we can also do something about taxing that. It's only a little bit, but here we go. Let's just have a quick look at the regions. Should have improved everything all over the place. There you go. Gibraltar can be taxed and virtually everything's green and happy now. There you go. That's democracy for you. Well, the next obvious task in the summer of 1737 is to attack the other Savoy fleet that's around here somewhere. Unfortunately it takes my fleet away from getting back to Northern Europe, but I'm thinking it takes 3 moves to get round there anyway. I might well be better off just recruiting more ships up there. It's a risk, of course, recruiting ships when my economy is struggling, and I could get strangled up at the top by a blockade as well. So I have little choice though, really. It's probably just as good disbanding fleets down here, or rather ships, and having new up there. Anyway, this is a nice tasty little morsel. A couple of dhows, which are very small sort of trading ships, worth a bit of money to me. And also a brig and the rest of sloops. Anybody that's watched my naval battles before now will know my tactics. They'll also know that my biggest worry in this battle, even though I've got a load of 6 rates, a 4th rate, and a 5th rate. Basically I've got 5th rate, 4th rate, that's the Admiral's flagship, 5th rate, and then 6 rates, but 1 sloop. My biggest worry in this, of course, is that I'm not quick enough to catch him if he routs, because I need the money, of course, so I need to capture the ships. So usual thing, you can see where the wind is coming in from. It's coming in from, well, what would you say, about 1 o'clock if you're looking on a clock, so we say northeast perhaps, and it's that's where it's blowing from, so he's following directly the line of the wind, so he's been able to get much further forward than we have before we can cross him. So I've done the usual thing, disable my fire from the front ship until he gets between the first 2 ships, and then I've enabled fire so he gets a chain shot at both of those ships. Obviously I'd have preferred to have slowed down that first ship, because my biggest worry, as I've said before, is that he will get away. Anyway, here we go, usual tactics, everything's on chain shot. We're going to go through the middle of him, and we're going to fire both sides as we do so. He'll have had firing at me against a narrow target, so gives me a bit of an advantage there. I do have to have my stronger ships going in first, of course, because they've got the stronger hulls and they can take it. He'll be firing ball, you see. We're just firing chain shot because we want to disable his ships, of course, and then capture them. You see that bottom one there is routing already. I always put my sloop on the back, so there's my sloop. Here we go, get the sloop and chase after him. I'll need to keep an eye on that, of course, just in case he stops routing and turns and fires at me. Not sure what sort of state that ship is in that we're attacking. Anyway, you can see the line still going through. I've rushed everything forward because that sloop has got a long way to come across, and the ships are all moving very, very slowly to go through the middle of his fleet. And you can see we're firing the chain shot at him as we go through, causing damage. We've got some 2 other ships there that are either surrendered or routing. He's only got a couple of others left. He's got a Dow right at the back. That's going to be a bit of a risk for me. That one might just get away. We'll have to see. If you fire at something from a distance and it's a small ship and you blow its morale, then it could well get away from you. Okay, here he is. We've caught him from that distance away because he'd taken sail damage, of course, so he couldn't get away quickly enough. And of course the sail damage caused him to rout as well, which meant that he was nice easy pickings for my sloop. Anyway, back to the main fleet action, and we've gone through his line, we've broken him up. You can see how his ships are now divided, and they're either routing or surrendered. Anyway, you can probably just make out in the background there what's happening. You know that Dow that I pointed out to you right at the end there that I was worried about might get away? Well, here we go. Here it is. Or it's one of those ships, and I'm not sure if it is a Dow or not. But anyway, I've sent a 6 rate after this one. But you can see he's got such bad mass damage, and again it's taken me 10-15 minutes to get to this ship, by the way. That's another reason why I've cut out a lot of the action. So all the bits you've missed out on are only bits that you would normally see, which are, you know, chain shot, get up close and do grape shot, disable when you think you're going to go across your own ships, and you know, disable fire completely. And then re-enable when you've got a clear shot. So it's just a case of keeping an eye on it. It's more difficult, of course, when you've got more ships, but with this many, I think it's just about manageable. And when you get 10 or more ships against 10, it really does get very difficult to manage the whole thing. But anyway, chasing after the red line around there, or the red circle there, and those triangles circulating round, they mean that we're boarding that particular vessel. You'll see the grappling hooks go over in a moment. That will be the close range grape shot that we've got. And this, of course, is the last boat in the action to be taken. And this is totally the end of the Savoy Navy, by the way. We've already defeated him in the Mediterranean with his main fleet, where he was blockading Marseille, and now we're taking him in the Mediterranean. Oh good, it's going to be a decisive victory this time. It's usually a bit crueler to me than that. There you go, captured all the ships. There'll be little damage to my own, but I'll take them into the port, and you can see how much it costs for me to replenish those ships. And my Admiral gains a trait there. I've still got the Admiral in this particular navy. I haven't been able to afford him, an Admiral rather, in other navies. See my army at the back there that will need to be moved. Well, added to, I should say, and replenished. That's going to block new Savoy armies coming through.